I've been using this for a while now, so I figured I would share some thoughts. This is an upright vacuum that can turn into a lift-away style vacuum when you want to carry the main canister around. If you live in a place with a mix of carpet and hard floors, if you have pets, or if you are just tired of a vacuum that feels awkward to steer, this one is aimed at that everyday kind of cleaning. I have used it in regular weekly cleans, quick spot cleanups, and the annoying jobs like stairs, couch cushions, and baseboards. What makes it different for me is the lift-away pod and how it changes the way I actually clean. Most upright vacuums are fine until you hit stairs or furniture, then you end up fighting the whole machine. With this one, I can pop the canister section off and carry it with one hand while using the hose with the other. That sounds simple, but in real use it means I actually clean stairs more often, and I do not avoid the edges of rooms as much. In person, it looks pretty straightforward. The finish is a blue plastic with some gloss to it, and it has that typical upright vacuum shape, but it does not feel huge. It feels solid enough that I am not worried about cracking something every time I bump a chair leg. The weight feels centered, so when I am pushing it across a room it does not feel like it is constantly trying to tip one way or another. It is not a feather-light vacuum, but it is not the kind that makes my wrist tired after one room either. Setup was simple. I did not have to sit there with a long instruction booklet for an hour. I snapped a couple parts together, clicked the handle into place, and it was basically ready. The attachments that come with it, like the crevice tool and the upholstery tool, are the ones I actually use. They attach without fuss, and they do not feel like they are going to fall off mid-clean. In daily use, the main thing I notice is suction. It picks up more than I expect on the first pass, even when the floor looks clean. I have had that moment where I vacuumed a rug that looked fine, then I emptied the dust cup and realized it pulled out a lot of fine dust and hair anyway. On carpet, it grabs into the fibers in a way that feels effective, and on hard floors it does not just scatter everything around. I also like that I can shut off the brush roll when I move to hard floors. I do not want a spinning brush flinging crumbs under the cabinets, and this lets me switch without feeling like I need a second vacuum. I have pets, so hair is part of life in my house. On the couch and in the corners of rooms, this vacuum does a good job of pulling hair out of fabric and off rugs. I still have to do a little bit of slow passes on heavier shed areas, but I do not feel like I am vacuuming the same spot 10 times just to make it look normal again. The upholstery tool is the one I reach for most, especially on cushions and pet beds. It pulls up hair that a lint roller would take forever to handle. The steering is another thing I notice every time I use it. It turns easily around table legs and chairs, and I can guide it without picking up the whole vacuum to reposition. In a tighter living room setup, that matters. I can get around furniture without feeling like I am doing a workout. Under some furniture, it still depends on clearance, because this is an upright, but the swivel helps me trace the edges cleanly instead of leaving that dusty outline around the room. The lift-away mode is where I use it most for stairs. I detach the pod, set it on a step, and vacuum each stair with the hose. The hose is workable, but I get why some people wish it was longer. On a long staircase, I do have to move the pod more often than I would like. It is not a deal breaker, but it is a real limitation. It is also the mode I use for shelves and the top edges of baseboards. I do not do that every week, but when I do, it is nice not to be balancing an upright vacuum in a weird way. Now, real talk about mess and maintenance. The dust cup is a good size for normal home cleaning. I can usually do multiple rooms before I feel like I need to empty it, and emptying it is not a big production. I open the bottom over the trash and it drops out. I have had fewer dust clouds than I expected, as long as I do it slowly and close to the trash bag. Filters do need cleaning, and I do it on a schedule because suction drops if I ignore it. That is not unique to this vacuum, it is just part of owning one. The Brushroll does collect hair, especially if you have long hair in the house. Pet hair, human hair, it all wraps around eventually. I have had to cut hair off the Brushroll more than once. It is not hard, but it is one of those chores you will be doing if your household sheds a lot. I would rather deal with that than have a vacuum that leaves hair behind, but it is still something I want to be honest about. On thicker, plush carpet, it can take more effort to push. On my normal carpet it glides fine, but on a deeper pile rug, I can feel it grabbing and I have to slow down and use more force. It still cleans, it just does not feel effortless in that situation. If your whole house is thick carpet, you will notice that extra push. One feature that matters to me personally is the sealed filtration with a filter that traps fine dust. I deal with allergies, and I can tell the difference between vacuums that leak dusty air back into the room and ones that keep things contained. After cleaning with this, I do not get that same dusty smell lingering in the air. It feels more contained, and I am less likely to start sneezing while I am vacuuming. I am not calling it magic, but it does feel better than the old vacuum I replaced, which always seemed to kick something up. I also want to address something from the script requirements here, because it matters. There is no mobile app support on this vacuum, and there are no smart features I interact with day to day. That is honestly fine for a vacuum like this. My real-life use is based on how it steers, how it handles hair, how quickly I can switch to the hose, and how annoying or not annoying it is to empty and maintain. This is a plug-in vacuum that you use with your hands, and the experience is mostly mechanical. For me, that is a positive because there is less to troubleshoot. After using it across carpet, hard floors, furniture, and stairs, my overall impression is that it is a practical vacuum that I actually reach for, and that says a lot. It has strong suction, it is easy to maneuver, and the lift-away setup makes awkward cleaning jobs more doable. The trade-offs are the Brushroll hair wrap, the extra push on thicker carpets, and a hose that could be longer if you have a lot of stairs. If your cleaning looks like mine, mixed surfaces, pet hair, regular furniture, and tight spaces, it fits into that routine without being a hassle. I'll leave the details about the Shark Navigator Liftaway Deluxe Vacuum NV360 in the comments for you to check out. See you in the next video.